Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today we're going to be recording part 3 of our color along, and I'm glad to say that today is a lot nicer. There's no wind, it's actually sunny, so we have some decent lighting. So I'm excited about that. So again, I've got my color combinations book, my color swatch book. We're using the Prismacolor Premier, so I've got those here, and we've been working in Whimsy Girls Around the World by Hannah Lynn. And the page that we've been working on is Oh Canada. And this is what we have done so far. I love how she's turning out. The background is just turning out amazing. It's going to make me a little bit nervous to color her, but I'm very excited about it. So we have 3 more parts. I think we'll have more than enough time to get everything done. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple pieces of paper in behind this page to protect the pages behind it. And we're going to dive on in and get started. So next up, we're going to be doing the water and then the tree trunks and the wooden log here. So after all that's done, then we'll kind of start tackling more of her. So let's zoom on in and get going. So I haven't picked out colors yet. I kind of wanted the water to be a little bit more of a greenish color, so I don't know if I have any color combinations to kind of go with that, so we might have to make one up. I did finally finish my color combinations book, so now I can just kind of go through and start adding stuff. I'm actually thinking maybe something like this, but a little bit on the bluer side, so between a blue and a green. I want to try and keep some of the same colors that we've been using in here, so I don't want to be adding too many new ones. So I think we want the lime peel for sure. And I think we're going to go blue, but we're going to give it a greenish hue is what the plan is. So I think we're going to be using the lime peel. Maybe the gray-green light to kind of blend everything together. And then we do want some kind of darker depth in there. I'm thinking indigo blue, maybe the cobalt turquoise a little bit, and then we want something a little bit bluer, so we're going to go with the light aqua, I think, or maybe the non-photo blue. Just trying to find a quick swatch with the non-photo blue here so I can see which one I think would work better. I think the aqua would be better. And then I'm going to grab the light green as well, just in case. I don't know if we'll use all of these colors, but we'll kind of see. And I don't know if these colors will work, but hopefully they do, because we're just going to wing it. So I'm just going to grab the swatches for that, and then we'll get started. So gray, green light, lime peel. Indigo blue. Cobalt turquoise, light green, and light aqua. Okay, I think these colors will give us a really interesting color, so let's go ahead and dive on in. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lime peel and I'm just going to lightly base everything. Well, all the water, not everything, but I'm just going to go in with a fairly light layer here. It doesn't have to be super neat. It's kind of a big area. Realistically, if I was coloring this on my own, I would probably use the Neocolor 2s because they create a really unique texture since they're watercolor mediums. So I feel like they look closer to water. And then also because it doesn't take as long to color. But I want to make this easy for everybody to kind of follow along with. So I don't really want to use materials that I know most people don't have. I'm always iffy about using the Prismacolors. I feel like in the coloring communities now, a lot of people have been able to get these pencils, especially with them going on sale so often throughout the years. So I'm a little bit more comfortable using these now because I feel like a lot of people probably do have these by now. but I think I want to keep this page for sure pretty much strictly Prismacolors, and then just a few, you know, random accent stuff like stickles maybe and that kind of thing. All right, so with that done, we're gonna dive on in with the indigo blue and kind of figure out what we're gonna do. Hannah has these lines kind of drawn in to show you that it's water. So we gotta figure out which side of the lines that we want to put the shadow on. And I think the bottom of the lines would be better, maybe. Then that would be white. Maybe not. Let's do the tops. We'll do the top of the line. So we're gonna start with the indigo blue. And on the very top, I'm actually gonna kind of color this over right on top of the line and then fade it up. So we're gonna do that for all of these lines here. So this is gonna be pretty repetitive and it's gonna take a little bit because it's such a large area. Kind of extend those out a little bit if we wanted to. This one's kind of a weird one. I'm still going to stick to the top just so everything's kind of uniform and similar. We might go in and add more depth to the indigo blue, but for now we're just going to go lightly and kind of see how it looks. We're going to build this up. And especially because I'm not really sure of these colors that I've picked. So if we're doing light layers, it kind of gives us the option to potentially change it later on if we need to. We're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to see if I can kind of switch the camera angle here a little bit so I can bring this down a little closer to me so it's a little more comfortable. I had my camera set up weird, so it's kind of too far away. It's awkward to color. That's better. I think I'm going to make it a little bit darker, kind of coming out from behind this log too. All right, let's go in with our cobalt turquoise next. So So this is going to go right over top of the indigo blue, and then we'll just fade it out a little bit. I'm not going to fade it out too much farther than the indigo blue. I want the water to be fairly light, I think. So I don't want to add too much shadow yet until we kind of know what it's starting to look like. And we're definitely going to want lots of light layers on the water, because when we go through and blend it, we want to have a lot of pigment down to get a really pretty blend that we get with water. Or I should say that we would want with the water. And usually doing it this way, we do get it. So. Okay, so you can always add more of that later if we need to, but we're going to move on for now to, I think the light aqua. So again, we're going to kind of layer this over top of our darker colors, and then we're going to fade this one out quite a bit. Let's leave a little bit of a lighter area along the bottom side of these lines for now. Just wherever we can. Some of the lines are going to be a little bit too close. We're not really going to be able to leave much area, but that's totally okay. I think it's looking quite interesting so far. I actually really like that. I was thinking about maybe having some of the sky colors on the water, but I don't really know how to do that without it looking weird. We might still be able to, we'll see. I mean, this page so far has been a bunch of experimenting, and so far it's turned out really good, so why stop now, right? But then there's also the saying of quit while you're ahead. So I don't know. It's always like Russian roulette when you're trying new things. Let's add in our light green. I think this I'm just going to use to kind of mix with the aqua. So we're kind of mixing the cobalt turquoise and the indigo blue together to create that greeny blue effect, and then we'll do the same with the light green and the aqua. And then I don't know if we'll actually use the lime peel. I think it might actually be too green, but the gray-green light would be good, because it's like a slightly less green, so it should be okay. And I do think that maybe we should attempt to bring in the sky colors, because I think it would be really pretty. We have a cat at the door, just 1 sec. Oh, hey, Lily, though. Hi. Yeah, what you doing? Really? You happy? Yeah? I can't cuddle you right now. No, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. You lay down and have a nap? Yeah, go have a nap. Don't tell me no. Come on, get up here. Come on. Lay down. Yes, you're so sweet. I love you. Her little chirps and chatters. She's so cute. Okay, so we're just gonna finish adding the light green over where we've put in the light aqua. And then before we continue, we'll add the sky colors. Figure it'll be easier to do that now before we accidentally add too much color in the highlight areas. You stay down. I'm sorry, but you guys stay down. Okay, let's see here. I don't think we need all of them, maybe just the main colors. So I think the Blue Violet Lake for sure, we use that one quite a bit, so we'll need that one. The Deco Pink and is it Pink Rose? Yeah, Deco Pink and Pink Rose. And I don't know if we really need the cream, because I feel like with the lime peel mixed with the gray-green light, that's gonna kind of create a cream color. So I think that would probably be okay. We just leave some areas white. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. Let's see. Yeah, and we wouldn't need the cloud blue either. So those should be okay. Those are the three main colors that we use. So we'll just grab swatches for those. So Blue Violet Lake. Is it Blush Pink? No, Deco Pink. Deco Pink and Pink Rose. Let's just grab the cream. That way we can be a little bit more mindful. And I'm gonna pop my cream in a pencil extender because I need to sharpen it and it's tiny. Actually, I might be able to sharpen it myself still. Just barely. Alright, but I'm still gonna pop it in this guy just so I have more control. Okay. Let's actually start off with the cream. And we're just gonna kind of do this randomly. I'm just gonna like pop just cream in wherever. There is no rhyme or reason, just kind of go wherever you want. It's not gonna be everywhere because we gotta save room for the other colors, and I'm situating this closer to the shadow, just on the very opposite side of the shadow because that's where our highlight's gonna be. Okay, let's go in with the Deco Pink. I'm gonna kind of work from lightest to darkest. And it's totally fine if you mix the colors. So if you put the Deco Pink somewhere that you had the cream, that's totally fine. Because the colors are mixed in the sky anyways, so it's still gonna look good. So add just a little bit of this. I think I want more of the darker colors than the lighter colors because they'll show up better. Okay, Pink Rose is next. So add a good healthy layer of this to areas. And then the Blue Violet Lake. Okay, so I think that's probably enough. Hopefully it shows up. If not, oh well, we tried. I don't want to muddy it up too much because then it's just going to look bad. So we're going to go back in with our indigo blue, and I'm actually going to turn this upside down just because it's going to be easier to keep our shadows where we need them. So I'm still not going to fully burnish this, but I am going to use a medium pressure to add some more depth to these shadows. And I'm mostly concentrating it right along the lines and then just fading it out slightly just to add some more pigment to kind of blend with later on. It's a little bit awkward on this side because of the binding, but I feel like I do have more control on making a sharper line. So if this isn't comfortable for you, you definitely don't have to flip your book around. You can just do it the other way. You can kind of see it already coming together, and when we blend, everything's gonna look so nice, as long as we did this right, which I think we're okay. All right, and then back in with the cobalt turquoise. And same thing, we're just lightly, this time, going over that indigo blue to give it more of a little bit of a green look. All right, and now let's flip our book back around. We're gonna go in with our light aqua. I'm gonna kind of stay away from the shadowed areas now though, because I don't want to accidentally burnish those. We're gonna need them. So I'm just gonna pop some more of the light aqua in here. Just light pressure, constantly going over the areas to build up the pigment on the paper. And just wherever it looks like it needs it. So if it's like too yellow in places, we can add this. I'm just gonna grab the indigo blue quick, and I'm gonna actually shade in behind this piece of bread and blend that out. And then we'll add a little bit of the cobalt turquoise, just because it looks kind of silly there. I don't know why, I think that needs to be darker. I think we are gonna go back in with the light green as well. Same thing, just lightly going over the aqua. Just very loosely, very messy. All right, so now with the gray-green light, just want to try and figure out which way we want to shade this. I think we want to go sideways. So we're just going to start burnishing, kind of going horizontally, because we want to keep our highlights light and drag our shadows kind of across so they fade off nicely. I'm wondering if we should have made this darker. It's not quite what I was going for, but it still looks really good. We definitely don't have water that looks like this here, but it's pretty and I wish we did. All right, there's one side done. Just gonna sharpen this back up a little bit. And then we'll tackle the other side. That's another thing I like about using the Neo Color 2s, because my arm doesn't hurt after. I need coffee. It's worth the pain though. And it does still have that green effect. It's just in my mind, I think it was a little bit darker. I was a little bit too worried about going too dark though, because that is a problem that I have. I always add way too many shadows and make things way darker than I intend to. So playing it safe this time and ended up a little bit different, but that's okay. All right, there's our water. So we will, so I'm just gonna grab these swatches for the colors we've used. Put those out there. Okay, so we're gonna tackle the tree trunks next. That way we can add some highlights to the water and some details on that. So we kind of want a few different variations of the wood for the different trees. And even though these trees we colored the same as these ones, these are technically those, well, the bark she has on here is like those willow trees, I think they are. I can't quite remember. So we're actually going to keep those fairly light. So let's see here. We want, for this tree alone, we're going to want artichoke and white. That's going to be it for that one. And then for the other ones, we'll have to figure out a wood color. I want to keep them similar, but just slightly different. So we'll probably just do similar shadow colors, but then a different burnishing and blending color. And we have two different combinations for wood, and I don't really like either of them, so let's kind of wing it. We're going to take the dark umber. Let's see, what other browns do we have? So dark umber, we'll take the dark brown. And then the chocolate for sure. Maybe the putty beige to burnish one, and then maybe the other we'll just do maybe the sandbar brown actually would be good. And then I think with a mix of these colors, we can also just do the log down here. So let's see, artichoke. Sandbar brown, putty beige, chocolate, dark umber, and dark brown. I think that's all of them. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. White. We forgot the white. There we go. All right, let's do these ones first. These ones we don't really have a whole lot of room to work with, but I actually want them darker as well. So we're just gonna go straight in with our dark umber, I think. So make like a heavy shadow kind of at the top where the trunk comes out from the top of the trees. And then also along the left side. And then we'll just kind of fade that out slightly. So I'm just going to lightly color everything in. We're going to deepen our shadow, fade it out. And then let's go in with the chocolate. So we'll just lightly add that in there. And then I'm just going to take my blender pencil and I'm just going to start in the lighter areas where we put the chocolate, and I'm just going to burnish that into where we put the dark umber. All right, that's those ones there. These ones, we're going to go in with our artichoke. So again, same thing. We're going to make a little bit of a shadow where the tree trunk disappears into the trees. And then for these ones, they're super tiny, so we're not going to be able to do a whole lot, but we're just going to kind of add a little bit of color to the lines that Hannah has drawn in here. You can try and fade them out a little bit, but we want to make sure that we leave a fair bit of white as well. And then we're going to very lightly try to put a shadow in along the left side without taking over the entire tree trunk. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. And then we're going to go in with our white and we'll burnish that, kind of going in across. I don't want to blend the artichoke up and down, so we're going to kind of do a horizontal blend. I think just to add a little bit of extra interest, let's take the sandbar brown. So I gotta remember which ones we've used so far. So we've used dark umber, we've used the chocolate, the white, and the artichoke. Okay, so now we'll take the sandbar brown. We'll just give this a little bit of a deeper shadow at the very top. There we go. And that's it for those ones. So these are going to stand out very well. And they're going to look really unique too.
Hi.
So these ones, I kind of want to be a little bit lighter than the pine or evergreen or whatever kind of trees those are. We're still going to go in with our dark umber. Our shadows are going to be on the right this time. So we're just going to add a slight shadow on the right of each tree trunk. And then also where the trunk disappears into the trees. Fade that down a little bit. So those are going to be our deepest shadows. Then we're going to switch to the dark brown. And this, I think we're just going to use to kind of add some darkness to the lines that Hannah has drawn here for the texture of the tree. So I'm basically just going to trace these. So I want to keep that texture. I want these trunks to look really interesting, especially since these ones look kind of bare. But then on this side, we have these tree trunks that look kind of interesting. So I want to make these ones look good on this side too. So then with the chocolate, I'm just going to lightly bring this out from the shadows. And then we're going to take the sandbar brown. We're going to lightly color in everything else, kind of just go over the whole trunk with this one. And then the putty beige is what we're going to use to blend everything out. So we're going to start in the highlights or the lighter areas and work towards the shadows. And then we'll take our dark brown again and we're just going to go over our shadows and these lines again, just to bring them out a little bit so you can see them a little bit more. So the putty beige is a nice color, but it definitely kind of takes over every other color you put it on. There, those look really interesting. I like that. I don't know if we need to add any white to the tree trunks, but we definitely are for the water. So Posca pen. And we're going to add white highlights pretty much all along the tops of these shadows here, I guess. We can even add like an extra few here and there. I think I might have to add new Posca pens to my list. Okay, we'll let that dry, and once that dries, we're gonna go in with some kind of shimmer. I'm thinking I'll probably use nail polish because I think that works the best in my opinion. But you can definitely use stickles too if you just want to make it glittery. It's totally up to you. Wink Estella would work as well, or just like any kind of any kind of like glitter glue or shimmery thing that you have would work. You can even take gel pen, and it's a little bit tricky to do, but if you find a surface that you can rub it on, where you can take a paintbrush, like a damp paintbrush, you can kind of disperse the sparkles around, and that will help as well. It'll create like a less shimmery version of the gel pen and kind of more translucent, so you can still see the colors in behind it, unlike you would if you just took a gel pen and kind of colored in the whole area. So let's actually base this with the artichoke, I think. Don't really know what color I want to go with this. I think I want to kind of keep it kind of dark like those ones, but we don't want it to look exactly like those ones. It's got to be kind of in between. Definitely want some nice dark shadows, so we are for sure putting the dark umber in there. That's probably my favorite brown, and it's so soft too that it's so nice to use for pretty much anything. So here we're just going to kind of pick out the lines, and you're just going to kind of figure out which ones are going to be shadowed and which ones aren't. For the most part, it doesn't really matter. You just stick to, if you're doing the top of the line, then you do the top of all the lines. If you're doing the bottom of the line, you do the bottom of all the lines. I think for these ones though, just to create some extra depth, I would go like all along the inside and make this look like it's like bark that kind of goes inwards. Maybe let's shade around her slightly. Blend that out. These ones I kind of did the inside. We'll put a shadow in around this branch here. I guess it would be a branch, right? So top of this line. Again, we'll do the inside of this bit here. And I think for any of these shapes that are kind of closed in like this and not like a straight line like this one, we'll do the inside. And I know I want to make these fairly dark, so I'm adding quite a bit of the color. This one, let's go bottom. Inside of this one. Bottom. 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 Okay, so that's giving us some really interesting looking texture. We're going to shade on the top of this one, bottom of this one. It's kind of inside. It's not a fully closed off circle, but kind of inside. And we'll do the same thing over here. We'll kind of shade around her to separate her from the log a little bit. Bottom of this line, bottom, inside. This one's pretty much just going to be colored in, so it's pretty small. And then bottom of this one. All right, I think that's looking pretty good so far. Let's go in with our nail polish. I think this will be dry enough. Okay, we're gonna scratch the nail polish idea because I don't know where my just clear sparkly nail polishes are. So I think we'll have to go with Stickles. So we'll probably leave that for last instead. Could do the Wink of Stella instead, but let's do that. Let's do the Wink of Stella. Just don't want it to be too glittery because I want to keep this page kind of natural. This does add a nice shimmer to the page too, so it's just not quite what I was wanting, but I just don't have the color I want. I have the same one I used for the Gnomes in the Neighborhood page, but it's more of like a whimsical color. It's like a blue with like a pink shine to it, so I'm fine using that on pages that I want to look more whimsical, but ones that I want to look more natural, like this one, can't really use that. And this is the GL clear, which I think is like the gold clear. I'm not really sure. That gives it a little bit of a sparkle without being too much. Another thing that we could have done is clear, well, not clear, but more watered down metallic watercolor. We could have done like a silver and that probably would have looked okay, but that's more shiny than sparkly, and I don't know if I wanted the water to be shiny. Okay, so we've got our dark umber. Let's use a little bit of dark brown for additional shading. So we'll kind of bring this out from some of these lines that we didn't have to close off. But then I also want to put some along the tops of the lines too. So I want the very bottom of these lines to be our highlights. We can add a little bit of this in with the dark umber in these areas. So top of this line, this one, and this one. I think that looks pretty good. Let's go in with our chocolate now. And we'll just lightly kind of go over everything, I think. I think we'll use a blender pencil to burnish this and blend everything together. But before we do that, I think we'll just add more of our shadow colors because I think we'll need more pigment to be able to make this as dark as I want it. So we're definitely going back in with more dark umber. I did make it so you guys can see, right? Okay, good. So just everywhere that we've added the dark umber, I'm just going to add an additional couple layers, and I'm going to blend it out a little bit more too. And then we're going to do the same thing with our dark brown. Okay, I think that looks good. So I'm going to sharpen my blender pencil and clean it off. Make sure there's no blue or pink or anything from the water stuck to it still. And then we're just going to burnish in the direction of the wood grains. You do kind of want to start more in the highlights and work your way back into the shadows, otherwise it might end up looking too dark. And then if you want it even darker, you can start from the shadows and blend into the highlights. It's all just a matter of preference. All right, there's the look. I don't know if we need to add any highlights to it. I probably wouldn't worry about it. While we have the browns out, let's tackle the basket. But first I'll zoom out so you guys can see what everything looks like with the background colored and then her just black and white, because I was kind of curious about that myself. Don't mind the mess. Oop, sorry. So that is what she looks like against the background. It's looking so good. I really cannot wait to see this in color. I think it's going to be amazing. Okay, let's go. We can probably tackle the bread and the wicker part of the basket with the colors that we have out right now. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use the artichoke. We've got muffins in there too. Okay, so I'm just going to base everything we're going to color with the artichoke. We'll grab additional colors if we need to, but I think for the most part, a lot of these colors will work. Get a little bit of the basket here that we can see. And I think that's it. And then there's part of a muffin here and part of a muffin here. You can probably color those in. I don't know what else is in here or what's what. So this area is going to be a little bit of a cluster, but if we miss anything, we can always come back in after. Okay, so the muffins I want to be fairly dark. Let's grab the dark umber and we'll add some shadow to them. So we're going to go kind of along the left side a little bit here, and then along the bottom, and then underneath her arm. So fade this out. We can put in some little dots and stuff in here. This one's going to be pretty dark too, but we're just going to put a shadow in along the bottom and leave the top light. Then we're going to go in with our chocolate. And we're just going to lightly kind of color this in. I'm just lightly going over the highlights, but I am going fairly dark over the dark umber and blending that out. And then we'll use, I think, the sandbar brown to finish that off. So we'll just go over everything, kind of blend it all together. Okay, that looks good. We used the dark brown on the bread. That's dark umber, we don't want that one. So dark brown, just along the bottom here, and just very lightly. And we'll blend that out. Maybe add a little bit of a shadow here, just to kind of separate the basket from the bread. And then maybe a little bit of a shadow along these little rivets here. Oops, I'm gonna throw my pencils around. Okay, then we're gonna come in with the sandbar brown, and we're just gonna lightly bring this up from the dark brown. Go over those divots a little bit. That's it for that one. And then with the artichoke, we're gonna go in with kind of a medium pressure. Just adding a light layer of this, and then I think we'll finish it off with the putty beige, and that should hopefully give us kind of a bread look. Someone's mowing their lawn and it's not rain this time. All right, I think that's good for the bread. And then the basket, we'll kind of do kind of like a medium brown, I guess. So start with the dark brown. Or sorry, I want the dark umber, not the dark brown. And we're just going to bring this in right along those lines. Kind of fade it out slightly on both sides. A little bit of a shadow in where the basket kind of disappears by her arm on both sides. Can probably skip the dark brown. Let's move straight onto the chocolate. So we're just going to bring the dark umber out by the chocolate, or with the chocolate. So we're going over and blending out. We'll also kind of use this as like a shadow color, so I'm going to kind of outline this entire line coming down to create a little bit of a shadow. Try and leave as much highlight as we can, but as they kind of curve down like this, there's not much room left. As long as you get a good amount of color in there, that's okay. And then we're going to go in with the artichoke, and I think we'll finish it off with that one. So this one I'm just going to color straight up and down. Just going to let the darker browns kind of blend wherever they want to. And then let's take our white and just lightly go over this as well. Just kind of mute it down a little bit. And with this one, I'm just going to do, for the most part, small circles. Okay, we'll go back in with our dark umber just along these lines to bring them back out a little bit. There. All right, what are we at for time now? Minute 14. Okay, I think I'm hoping that we'll only need 2 more parts to finish her. I don't really know what else I want to get colored right now. Kind of need to think on colors, but we do need to get her shirt figured out. So maybe let's take a little bit of time to do that. We'll go in. Just one sec here. Getting a little disorganized here. Okay, we'll go in with our white Posca pen. I think I am going to put a little bit of a highlight on the tree trunk here. Just light ones. I'm going to kind of blend them out with my finger so they're not like super noticeable. I don't even know if the camera's picking it up after I rub it off, but it's just leaving like a very, very light white look. It just adds a little something extra to the log. And then we are going to go ahead and add some shadow or highlight, sorry, to the muffins and the bread and the basket. Just gonna blend that line out a little bit. All right, that looks good. So for her shirts, I'm just gonna find the reference picture and then see how we want to do her shirt. Let's see, Canada. So I think it was Tabitha's that I really liked for the jacket. So I want to do, I know I want to have red for sure. Mine is going to be kind of similar to Tabitha's in the sense that I want some kind of red around the plaid. And then she had the exact same idea that I did for the shirt. I don't know if I'm going to do the pattern here with the red and white. And I want my maple leaf to be quite a bit darker. And then the shirt will be kind of a, probably like a bluey white, I think. There's so many pretty ones in here. So there's lots of different colors for the plaid. I like the black and the red, but I think it might be a bit too much. It'd look very bold against the background that we have. Like everybody else has like a lot of really bright, rich colors, and ours are more muted. So I don't really want to make her too bold. She's already going to stand out as is because she's right front and center on the page. Okay, so what I'm seeing here when I'm scrolling through these is I just don't like the red. It's just, it's too much, it's too bold. I do still want to include it, but I think it needs to be more of an accent. So in order to keep this muted, I think I'm going to go with one of my favorite like natural or neutral, I guess, color palettes, and that'll be black and gray, and then we'll do like the red as an accent. So see if I can kind of find a plaid shirt for the general idea of what I'm looking for. That's blue. So it'd be kind of like this, I think. Except a little bit less red. See, this one's kind of like this. I like this one. There's a lot more detail than we would be putting in, but that amount of red, just like a thin strip of red would be good. So I'm gonna grab a pencil. Just gonna kind of freehand a really thin line. Coming down here. I think regardless of how I do it, it's just gonna look busy. I don't really know how to accomplish what I want to do. I might use this page to kind of play around. Let's see what we can do here. So what I'm thinking, this is gonna kill my OCD, but it's for you guys, so I'll do it. So I want a red. I'm just gonna make sure this is like the kind of red that I want. It's not bad. Okay, this will work. Thinking, just kind of go like this. Just realized I just completely flipped the page on you guys. You probably can't. Oh, I guess you can see pretty much everything I'm doing. Thank goodness. Okay. Yeah, this is looking way busier than I intended it to. But we're gonna follow through and see what it would look like finished. It's cute, but it's way too busy. Can't do that. Don't know what to do. Okay, what I'm thinking is doing black and gray instead. So we'll do her shirt black and gray plaid. And then the Canadian leaf will stand out a little bit more that way, which is a plus. And then I guess that kind of works because I want her hair to be a reddish brown. So that'll kind of tie in with the maple leaf, and then her hair won't kind of get lost in her outfit. I think I'm going to play around with this in Photoshop and kind of go from there and figure out what pattern to do. Otherwise, I'm going to wreck this page and I really don't want to. So I think we're going to leave this here. I'm going to leave all of that in this clip. That way you guys can see how indecisive and crazy I am. Because I definitely don't always know what I'm going to do with the pages. And it's totally okay to have meltdown moments where you have no idea what you're doing. Yeah, I think the last thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take, yeah, the dark brown, doesn't really matter which pencil, dark brown or dark umber, whichever. And I'm just gonna outline this log just because the water colors kind of got over the line work and it looks kind of foggy and weird, so I'll make this pop back out again. There we go, that's better. All right, so we're gonna leave it here. When we come back, I will have an idea of what to do with her shirt and the rest of her, hopefully. So here's how she's looking so far. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. I'm really happy with the progress. I cannot wait to get her finished. I'm hoping to be able to record part 4 today, and then I'll record part 5 tomorrow, and then it's done. Then throughout the next couple weeks, I can focus on creating the intros, the outros, editing the little bits that I do edit, and all of that. But yeah, that is it for now. Hopefully you guys are enjoying, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. As always, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!